Hello and welcome to step 7 of this tutorial on how to create a WhatsApp clone using Ionic2 and Meteor. In this step, we're going to take care of the app security and encapsulation, since we don't want the users to do whatever they want and we don't want them to be able to see content which is irrelevant for them. We're going to start by removing a package called Insecure, which is installed by default by Meteor. This package provides the client with the abilities to run collection mutation methods. This is a behavior we are not interested in, since removing data and creating data should be done in the server and only after certain validations. This package is included by default for development purposes and it should be removed once the app is ready for production. Now that we don't have the ability to remove whatever document we want anymore, we need to update the logic for the remove chat method in our chats component. So first we will implement the corresponding method in the Meteor server. And now that we have it, we can use it in the chats component. Right now, all the chats are published to all the clients, which is not very good for privacy. Let's fix that. First thing we need to do in order to stop all the automatic publication of information is to remove the auto-publish package from the Meteor server. Now we need to explicitly define our publications. We'll start by creating a publications file in the Meteor server. We'll start by defining the user's publication, which is used in the new chat dialog. We'll start by importing Meteor, and Mongo. To create a new publication, we'll use the publish method defined on the Meteor instance. The first argument of the publish method is going to be the name of the publication. In this case, it's going to be users. And the second argument should be a handler for the publication. This handler should return a cursor of the users collection. First we will check if a user is logged in, and if not, we're going to abort this publication. And then we would like to return all the users' profiles. For this we'll use the users collection. The query is going to be empty. And then we're going to use a projection of the profile field. The user's publication is finished. Every publication should have a subscription in the client. Let's subscribe to the user's publication in the new chat component. So before running the computation for finding the users, we will add the subscribe method, where we're going to subscribe to the user's publication. It's going to receive a callback once it's done. And then we can use the computation. Let's move on to the messages publication used by the messages component. So we want to define a new publication called messages. It's going to receive a callback. And this time the callback is going to get the chat ID as the first argument, since this publication is individual for each chat. And this function is going to return a cursor of the message model. Which means we need to import it. So in the publication handler, we first want to check if the user is logged in, and if not, we're going to escape. And we also want to check if the chat ID is defined, since we rely on it. And we want to return all the messages relevant for the chat ID we just received. Of course, it means we need to import the messages collection. Then again, for each publication we define, we need to use it in the client. This time it's going to be the messages component. And before we run the computation, we need to subscribe to the messages publication. And we're going to provide it with the active chats ID. And it's going to receive a callback for once it's done. And now we can run the computation. Now we would like to define the chats publication. The chats publication is a composite publication which is made of several nodes. First, we're going to find all the relevant chats for the current user logged in. After we have these chats, we're going to return the following cursor for each chat document we found. First, we're going to return all the last messages. And second, we're going to return all the users we are currently chatting with. In order to define a joint collection publication, we'll install a package called publish composite. And now that we have it, we're going to install its belonging typings. Let's start defining our chats publication. We'll also need to import the chats collection and the chat model. And this time, to define a composite publication, we're going to use a method called publish composite. The first argument is going to be the name of the publication and a handler. And this function is going to return a composite publication config of the chat model. Then again, we're going to escape unless the user is logged in. And we're going to return an object whose first property is going to be the find method. And this method is going to be the handler for the initial publication, and it's going to return all the chats who's relevant for the current logged in user. And the second property of the return object is going to be children. And it's going to be an array. And each child in the children array should be a sub-publication of the initial publication. So these are publications we're going to run for each chat we just found. So for each chat we just found, we want to find its recent message. And the first object is going to have the find property. It's actually recursive. So then again, it's going to be a publish composite config. But this time it's one level deeper. And it is based on the chat model and the message model. And we're going to have the find method. And it's going to run for each chat we just found. So we will return all the messages relevant for the current chat. We're going to sort them by their creation time. And since we're only interested in the last one, we're going to limit the result set to 1. Now each chat we just found should have a title and a picture. The title is actually the profile name of its corresponding user, and the picture is the profile picture of the corresponding user. So let's find all the belonging users for the chat we just found. So the second object of the children array is going to be a publish composite config as well. And this time it is associated with the chat and a user. And it's going to have a find method. We're going to find the user belonging to the current chat. So its ID should be in the chat member IDs array. And we want to project its profile. Now that we finally have this massive publication ready, let's subscribe to it. Now let's test our app to see if it works. We'll start the Meteor server. And the Ionic server. Now that the servers are ready, let's log into our app. Let's type a random phone. Let's verify it. And type my name. And let's just play with it to see if it works. We have the users list. We can chat. And we have the last message, and everything works well. So this was all for the tutorial, and hopefully you liked it. You're more than welcome to leave comments in the comment sections below and tell me what you think. And hopefully see you in the next tutorials.